Hey guys, right here I have a 2013 Volvo V40 T4. And today I'm going to make a startup and full vehicle tour video of it, show you the features inside and out. So here's the key fob. Let's go ahead and start it up first. As you can see, the mirrors are currently folded out. Upon locking the car, the mirrors will automatically fold in. And upon unlocking, the mirrors will automatically fold out again. Also, if you press and hold on the unlock button, you are able to roll down all four windows simultaneously, and to roll them back up together, just press and hold on the lock button. This V40 has travelled 16,262 kilometers in slightly under a year. To start the car, insert the key fob into the slot right here. Put your foot on the brake and press the start-stop button above the key slot. The V40 gets an electric rack and pinion power steering system. Standard on the T4 is a leather-wrapped steering wheel with sport grips at the 10 and 2 o'clock positions. The steering wheel itself is of an interesting design as the sides are slightly flat. Only one transmission is available for the V40 T4 in Malaysia, and that is a 6-speed power shift transmission. Power shift is what Volvo and Ford calls their dual-clutch automated manual transmission. Power shift basically has two sets of clutches, one controlling gears 1, 3 and 5, and the other controlling gears 2, 4 and 6. Power shift allows for smoother shifts, less lag between shift times, better fuel consumption, and also the elimination of a clutch pedal found in a conventional manual transmission and a torque converter found in a conventional automatic transmission. There is geartronic manual shifting via the plus and minus down by the gear lever, and shifting the transmission into reverse will activate the rear parking sensors and its diagram that shows up on the 5-inch infotainment display. Volvo is known for their safety, and the V40 does not disappoint. 7 airbags, anti-lock braking system with electronic brake force distribution and emergency brake assist, dynamic stability and traction control with advanced stability control and corner traction control by torque vectoring, blind spot information system, cross traffic alert, city safety, ready alert brake, fading brake support, alarm system, immobilizer, and ISOFIX child seat anchor points are all present on the V40. Volvo's side impact protection system, inflatable curtains, and whiplash protection system makes an appearance in the V40 as well. Now, let's go ahead and turn on the hazards, lights, rear fog lights, take a look at the engine, and roll down the driver's side window. The bonnet release in the V40 is located to the left of the front passenger side footwell. The V40 T4 features 16-inch mattress 5-spoke alloy rims covered in Michelin Primacy HP 205/55 R16 tires. Ventilated disc brakes are found in front, while the rear gets solid disc brakes. For the front suspension, McPherson struts are installed, and out back there is a multi-link setup. The V40 5-door C-segment hatchback debuted at the 2012 Geneva Motor Show. Currently, it is in its first generation, and the creation of the V40 range is to replace the S40 range. However, the V40 is not a new name for Volvo, as the first generation S40 had an estate version that was called the V40 as well. With the creation of the new V40, Volvo now has a proper competitor to the likes of the VW Golf, the BMW 1 Series, and the Audi A3 hatchback. Underneath the bonnet of the V40 T4, you can find Ford's 1.6-litre EcoBoost inline 4. This engine features dual overhead cams, 16 valves, direct injection, twin independent variable camshaft timing, and a turbocharger to produce 180 horsepower at 5700 RPM and 240 Nm of torque from 1600 to 5000 RPM. 0 to 100 is achieved in 8.5 seconds onto a top speed of 225 km per hour. The fuel tank in the V40 T4 carries 62 litres of petrol, and the fuel consumption averages out to about 6.1 litres per 100 kilometers. The T4 emits 143 grams of carbon dioxide per kilometer, and it is front-wheel drive. The V40 was launched in Malaysia about a year ago when the hype for C-segment hatchbacks was high. The launch of the V40 in Malaysia saw 3 variants being introduced: the base V40 T4, the mid-range V40 T5, and the top-of-the-range V40 T5 Cross Country. Both T5 variants uses Volvo's own brand new 2-litre turbocharged inline 5, and the Cross Country features a raised ride height and some exterior and interior styling changes to give the appearance of a mini SUV. Exterior features of the V40 T4 includes automatic auto-leveling adaptive bi-xenon headlights with LED daytime running lights, automatic wipers, headlight washer system, rear fog lights, rear parking sensors, LED rear lights, LED number plate lights, LED indicators on the side mirrors, and dual exhaust pipes. You do have a speaker right here, together with some storage. And right up here you do have your central locking, mirror controls, window controls, all of them are fully automatic in both ways. And your window and child lock for the rear doors. To the right of the headlight switch, you have the button to release your rear hatch. And right here you have the lever to adjust the brightness of your interior at night. Down below you do have some storage. Volvo door sills. The driver's seat in this V40 T4 does get full powered adjustments, with all your controls located right down here together with your 3-person memory. You also do have manual lumbar support, adjusted using that knob right down there. Alright. So let's go ahead and see how she revs. The V40 T4 does get a dual zone automatic climate control system as standard. All your controls are located right down here. The display is shared with the infotainment display right above. On the left knob, you do have your fan speed and automatic control. And on the right knob, you do have your temperature control with your LR button. I'll explain to you what LR means in a moment. Do take note as both temperature settings are currently underlined. If you twist the knob at this point, both temperature settings will change. If you hit LR once, it switches over to the right side, which is the driver's side, and only the driver's side temperature setting will change. If you hit LR once more, it switches over to the left side, which is now the front passenger side, and only the front passenger setting will change. And if you hit LR again, it switches back to both sides. Right here, you also do have your front and rear defrost, air conditioning, recirculation, and your different modes. Right down here, you have the button to turn on or off your rear parking sensors, as well as the button to activate or deactivate your blind spot information system. If you have this system activated, the car will detect any objects within its blind spot, and a yellow light will appear on the little triangle portion on each side of the car. Obviously, depending on which side the blind spot is on. The system uses radars that are below the side mirrors to check for the objects within the blind spot. Right down here, you also have the button to activate or deactivate your auto start-stop system. If activated, the engine will momentarily shut off while at a stop, such as a traffic light or a traffic jam, to save that extra bit of petrol or diesel depending on what the car is running on. Standard on the T4 is an integrated head unit with various media connectivity options, a 5-inch color display, and a high-performance audio system with 8 speakers and a 4x40 watt amplifier. The 5-inch screen above is mainly controlled using your controls down below here. You have this knob to the right that scrolls to the left, scrolls to the right, and within the knob you do have your OK and menu buttons as well as exit and return buttons. This is your main USB screen with the current song playing. You do have the artist, album, song duration and song title. To access your USB menu, just hit menu. And it brings up your list of USB options with random repeat folders, select a particular USB device, scan, and audio settings. In audio settings, you can change your equalizer settings, volume compensation, as well as reset the settings back to default. To go back to your previous menu, just hit exit. And that's about it. To scroll through your list of songs, just use the knob to either scroll left or right, and it brings up your list of songs in the particular USB menu, or rather your USB folder. Instead of scrolling through the whole list, you can use the keypad to type out the name of the song or to type out the first letter of the song, and so on and so forth. For example, if I want to go to a song with the letter L, just type out L, it will load the system and bring up the list of songs starting with L. And to select the song, just hit OK. If you hit exit, it goes back to your list of folders on the USB. And if you hit exit once more, just brings you back to the main USB screen. Right down here, you do have the buttons to access your FM AM menu, your different media options. You do have CD, auxiliary, USB, as well as Bluetooth audio streaming. And My Car basically brings up your list of options to do with the V40. My V40, you can access your dynamic stability control options, city safety mode, reduced guard mode, as well as bending lights. Trip statistics basically shows you your fuel consumption data for the past few thousand kilometers. Drive E, you can look at your eco driving guide on how to drive the car more efficiently. And you can also access your start-stop status. And lastly, settings. In settings, you can change your different configurable options. Car settings allows you to change the lock settings, side mirrors, lights, steering wheel force. You can select whether you want the steering wheel in low, which is the lightest, or high, which is the heaviest. Or you can just reset it back to default. Your different driver support systems. System options, your time, language, screensaver, units, volume levels. They are all controlled using this menu. You also have your audio settings. You also have your climate settings, system favorites, and system information. You can also access your Bluetooth telephone menu via this button. In this menu, you can dial a phone, look at your paired phone, pair a phone, delete a phone, and all that. You can also look at your phone book through this menu. But that's about it for the screen. Right down here, you do have your volume knob, as well as power and sound buttons. If you hit sound, you can access your bass, treble, balance and fader. You do have your CD player right here. It is MP3 compatible, eject for the CD player, seek track buttons, and this keypad right here, if you did not want to use it as a keypad for your Bluetooth telephone system, you can also use it to store your 10 customizable stations for the radio. Electronic central locking, and power folding mirrors. To fold them, just hit left and right buttons together. On the steering wheel, the left spoke houses your cruise control, the right spoke houses your audio controls with your volume, your switching between your different tracks or radio stations, as well as selecting the song and whatnot. You also have your mute and exit button for your infotainment system. On the right stalk, you do have your wiper controls, and on the left stalk, your indicator controls together with your multi-information display controls. If you just use this wheel, you can scroll through your different vehicle warnings. But for now, in this menu, you do have your digital speedometer, and down below, trip 1 and mileage. You can scroll through your average speed, instant fuel consumption and average fuel consumption, range, turning the display off, trip 2 and mileage, or trip 1 and mileage. If you hit the OK button at the end of the indicator stalk, you can bring up your different options: service status, vehicle messages, digital speed. In digital speed, you basically change the units for the digital speedometer in the center right here. Your multi-information display options, what you want to be displayed, and that's about it. The steering wheel in this car is tilt and telescopic. You adjust it using this lever right here. Right here you do have a couple of cup holders together with a power outlet, adjustable center armrest with storage down below, another power outlet, and your USB port. frameless auto-dimming rear view mirror, your LED interior lights, and you do have a sun visor with a vanity mirror and lights for the driver's side. Alright. So I guess that's it for the startup. We can turn it off right now. And continue with the rest of the tour. You do have a bottle holder down there with your speaker, and right up here your window control. Right there you do have some storage. And the rear seats do fold. First, there are actually two levers right there. The smaller one flips the headrest down. If you pull the bigger one, it flips both the headrest down as well as the seat back. For the load space to be flat with the boot, you actually have to make sure the headrests are up, and then it will fold flat. The driver's seat is in a position that I would be comfortable in. I'm about 5'7", which is about 1.7 meters tall. I do have room to stretch my legs out below the driver's seat. And I have about this much leg room. And about this much headroom left. You do get storage pockets on the front seat backs. Right down here, you do have your cup holders. And there is a rear center armrest in this car. Right above, you do have your LED interior lights as well. And for both sides, you do have grip handles with hook. The V40 does have a capless fuel filling system. There are 3 ways to open up the rear hatch. There is the button inside the cabin as shown earlier on. There is the touchpad beneath the Volvo badge on the rear hatch itself, and you can also press the button on the key fob twice to open up the hatch. .335 litres is the amount of boot space available in the V40 with the rear seats in place. Folding the rear seat backs down and removing the cargo cover allows for 1032 litres of space. There are LED lights to illuminate the area on both sides of the boot as well as the hatch. There are also small storage areas on either sides of the boot, and underneath the boot floor is a storage tray. Underneath this storage tray is the car's spare tyre and toolkit. You only have adjustable headrests for the front. The only way to move the rear ones are to flip it down to aid visibility while parking. You do have a speaker down there with some storage and your window control. Volvo door sills for this side as well. And the front passenger seat does get the same full powered adjustments as the driver's side. It just loses out on the 3-person memory, but you still do get your manual lumbar support over there. Lockable glove box. It is also quite big. You do have a level right up here for your owner's manual, a cutout right here for some items, and a deeper storage area right here. You can also have the option of chilling the glove box just by pulling this lever out, and cold air actually comes in from the air conditioning system. You do have a vanity mirror with lights for this side's sun visor. Alright, so let's start it up with the door closed. Alright, so let's take the V40 T4 for a quick test drive. This review was made possible thanks to the marketing department of Volvo Malaysia, who loaned out their V40 T4 to me for a few days. As with all other reviews, let us start off by talking about the drivetrain. The engine is pretty powerful, with enough power on tap whether it be for city driving, highway cruising, or even overtaking. Gear shifts from the 6-speed power shift are smooth and fast, however at times it can be a little jerky at low speeds. Handling and comfort are both the V40's strong points. It is fun to drive, there is plenty of grip through corners, and as shown earlier, the weight of the steering can be changed according to one's liking. The suspension is quite alright, it is not too hard, yet it is not too soft either. The brakes does a good job of stopping the nearly 1500 kg V40. The exterior of the V40 looks good no matter which angle you look at it at. The bi-xenon headlights perform a good job at night, and the adaptive function for the headlights are quite useful in lighting up a corner as you go through it. As for the safety aspect, I mentioned earlier that the car comes with a lot of safety and security features, making it one of the safest, if not the safest hatchback around. Next up is the interior. There is plenty of space all round, except the boot as it is a tad tinier than some of its rivals. However, the boot is still big enough for that short weekend trip somewhere as well as to the shops. The seats are comfortable, and the two front ones have plenty of adjustments, making it easier for people sitting in front to find their correct position. As for the ergonomics, all the buttons are in the right places, although the infotainment and climate controls can be a little bit confusing for some who are not accustomed to the car just yet. The instrument cluster in the T4 is simple and well laid out, and I must say, I favour this design more than the digital instrument cluster found in both the T5 models. The infotainment display is clear and easy to read, while the sound system for stock unit sounds great. Also worth mentioning, and I did forget to show this earlier in the video, is a storage area right behind the center console. The only two downsides I found towards an otherwise superb interior is the big blind spots created by the thick D-pillars at the back, and also the location of the parking brake, which is too near the front passenger seat, causing me to hit the seat every time I release the parking brake. Hey guys, thought I'd make a nighttime startup video of this 2013 Volvo V40 T4. So, here's the key fob. Let's go ahead and get started. You can manually activate welcome lights just by pressing this button. The front LED parking lights turn on. The puddle lights underneath each of the side mirrors turn on as well. The rear lights as well as the number plate lights turn on. And lastly, the interior lights turn on as well. So, most of the buttons in the interior actually light up in this shade of white. Including the buttons on the steering wheel, the buttons on the door panel, and the buttons around the headlight switches. The instrument cluster lights up in the same shade of white as well. The display has a white on black background, while the needles light up in red. Obviously the screen is colored. And right up here, you do have your LED interior lights. They are quite bright. And as shown earlier, you can actually activate the interior lights as part of the welcome lights. And also, if you notice, this green light right here, you can actually change it according to your liking by going through the screen. Hit My Car, go to Settings, go to Car Settings, go to Light Settings, Interior Light, Ambient Light Colors, and select the light color according to your preference. You do have various shades of white, gold, red, blue, purple, green, or according to the temperature inside the car. So for example, I have it in green right now. So if I go to Frosty White, the light changes to white. Amber Gold, it changes to gold. Red Sunset, it changes to red, so on and so forth. And also by far one of the coolest gear knobs I've ever seen in a car. There's this ring of light around the gear knob that actually lights up every time the headlights are switched on, which is, in my opinion, quite cool. Also, the gear position is on the gear knob itself, so it will shift according to which gear you're in. Alright, so let's go ahead and turn on the hazards. The headlights are already on since they are on automatic. Let's just turn on the rear fog lights. Alright, so that's it for the startup and full vehicle tour video of this 2013 Volvo V40 T4. Thanks for watching and goodbye.